Hey, what is going on, Geminis? Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your September monthly read. I had to really think about what month we were in right now. Um, it is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. I don't know, does that ever happen to you? Like where you just like have this malfunction where you forget where you're at? Like I don't know how I forgot we're in September, but for a moment there I had to really think about it. I had to go back into my memory bank and figure it out. But anyway, here we are in September. I'm gonna pull an oracle card first from the Earth and Bone Oracle. Universe, give us a card for Geminis. Wayfarer, contemplation, search for truth, and inner guidance. All right, I'm going to use the Anchormancy Tarot. Anybody that hasn't seen this deck, if you love tarot, if you like doing your own readings, if you do tarot yourself, or you just collect cards, this is a deck you're going to want to get. One of my favorites. It's the most unique deck there is. I haven't seen one more unique than this. Every card was done by a different tattoo artist. And I really feel like none of them talk to each other because like it's so all over the place and I love it. Beautiful chaos. Anyway, with all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Geminis for September 2025? All right, Geminis. Whew. All right, Gemini. So big things happening. The first thing I see is we start off with the Tower. I feel like there's some realizations you've been making in your own life. You know, and that's what I feel like with this. Like the Tower signifies like breaking old patterns. You know, I really feel like that was loud. I really feel like things are. It's almost like you're just kind of coming into your own. You know, sometimes it takes us a while to really figure out things, and I feel like we're starting off fresh here. I mean, I really letting go of the things that kind of held you back. You know, starting fresh, seeing things a little differently. And I feel like all this is like perfect timing because I see someone coming into your life. Now, I feel like with this person, I mean, it starts with a conversation and it turns into a friendship. You know, I feel like sometimes that we find it hard. And I know Geminis, from the Geminis, I know it is hard to find a good friend. It is hard to find someone that just, just matches your energy. And I feel like this is the first thing you notice about this person is they just match your energy. You know, I feel like it starts in a conversation, leads to a friendship. You know, we have two queens here. I mean, we have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. So this person doesn't bullshit you. You know, they're straight to the point, and I feel like you love that. Geminis love that. Now saying that from my experience, I've been with a Gemini for 17 years, and my best friend is a Gemini since I was 4 years old. So I speak, plus I have other Gemini friends, but I speak from experience when I say this. Geminis don't like to be bullshitted. They don't like you telling them bullshit. They want you to be straightforward. You know, good, the bad, the ugly. They want it straight. Because they're going to sure as hell give it to you straight. Now, with that Queen of Wands, it's, you know what I mean? It's that enjoying life. It's that passion. It's, that zest. You know, taking over the world type energy. And I feel like with this person, like I said, it starts off in a friendship. I feel like you just click with this person. You know, they get you. They match your energy. You know, and they make you laugh. You have a good time with them. It doesn't feel forced when you're with them. And, finding yourself wanting to spend more and more time with this person. And I feel like we saw it coming, even if we don't want to admit it to ourselves. With that Sagittarius energy, there is some flirtatious energy because I feel like there's something building up between the two of you. It's like a pot of water. After it's been on the fire too long, it's gonna boil, and if you don't get it, it's gonna bubble over. Like I said, I don't feel like either one of you really saw this coming, like meeting each other. But once you met each other, I feel like we both kind of knew where this was going. I feel like we both kind of wanted. You both kind of wanted. I don't know why I said we. I'm not involved. Now, for all the things that you guys, the two of you have in common, which is a lot, I feel like this person is different from you in certain ways. I feel like this person really has their shit together, and not saying you don't have your shit together, but I just feel like this person is more stable. They're more grounded, and I feel like that's going to be a huge plus. And I keep getting this image of a lighthouse, and we all know what lighthouses represent. They represent safety, stability. And I feel like this person being that is like your lighthouse. Like they're not holding you back. Quite the opposite. I mean, I feel like you feel free when you're with this person. Like you can have your cake and eat it too. Like you have this person that wants to be with you, but there's also times when they understand that, sometimes you gotta fly. You gotta go for a sail. But this person, like I said, it's like that lighthouse that I'm seeing. They're there for you. So they kind of give you that sense of stability as well. I always tease Rose about me being an anchor and her being a kite, and she's tied to me, so she can fly all she wants, but she doesn't ever get too far. I feel like you bring the excitement out of this person to an extent, and I feel like this person in turn offers you more stability. Someone you can rely on, someone that shows up for you. Like I said, they show up, they put in the work. And with this person, kind of seeing things a little differently. You kind of get to see things a little differently with this person. I feel like sometimes we find people in life that want us to extremes. They want us all the time, or they want nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? Like, to find someone that wants us when we're around and is okay with us not being around. I feel like this person gets it. I feel like they get you and they make you feel understood. And I feel like that in itself gives you balance. We have temperance, some more Sagittarius energy. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Just feeling like you can be you. And that, again, we go back to that Tower card of how, old ways. Sometimes we find relationships and we may feel a connection to someone and we try to, not that we're trying to change ourselves, but sometimes we try to mold ourselves into it's almost like trying to fit a circle into a square. We try to fit in, but that's just not for us. And that's okay, because when you find the right one, you figure out that you don't have to be anything you don't want to be. You can be whatever you want. You want to be a butterfly today, be a butterfly today. You can be a cat tomorrow. And I mean, as we move forward with this connection, as you move forward, you're going to see more and more of this connection blossom. It's becoming deeper and deeper between the two of you. That Emperor and Empress energy, that masculine and feminine. The nurturer, the protector, coming together. Finding someone that just enjoys you when they have you. And there's no sense of control here. It's just freedom. And that's what really sets us apart. The freedom you have with this person. That's the thing. I'll get into that later. I talk too damn much during the readings. But like I said, it starts off in a friendship. We have some physical energy trying to bust out there as well. So this is moving forward. And then it keeps moving forward. We have new love here. I feel like you finally found a partner. With that Lover's card, that Gemini energy, that person that makes you feel complete. And it's unfortunate in life. Sometimes we meet a lot of people. Most times we meet a lot of people that don't make us feel complete or make us feel like we're incomplete. But to find someone that makes us feel like we're everything we should be, like I said, they just make you feel complete. And it's establishment of trust that you get with this person. Like, you just trust them. You trust them like a best friend, but then you also have that physical connection with them. And then to top it all off, that emotional coating. We have the King of Cups as that emotionally mature energy. It's almost like that, I don't want to say like that father figure, but it kind of feels like that. And I don't mean that just made it weird, I think. And so we're going to backpedal a little bit here. It's like that. I don't know how else to say that, but you get what I mean? Like, it's like having that person that you can rely on, but it's not really like a father figure, because I feel like fathers, sometimes they kind of tend to control, and it's the opposite of that. It's like that freedom you have, but you also have that safeness with this person. Like, you feel safe as if you're with someone that truly and deeply cares about you. In a way, like a father. And I'm making it weirder the more I try to fix this, so I'm just going to stop. Having someone that truly cares about you in a very genuine way. And that's what I mean by like the father energy is, like the parent, someone that truly cares about you, and they take you the way that you come. It's not about being perfect. It's about being theirs. It's about wanting you to be happy. It's about wanting you to have your best life. And when you find a partner that's like that, it's that old saying, you end up with someone. If a girl has a good father, she ends up with someone like her father. And I'm still making it weird. So we're just going to stop. Anyway, with this person, like I said, I mean, again, we got more balance. Just finding balance with this person, a happy medium. You being a little bit more wild and them being a little more tame, and then coming together and mixing into each other. And I feel like it's a great combination. And I mean, you're in for one hell of a journey, because I don't see it ending anytime soon. With this person, I mean, we have Taurus, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So we got a lot of fire there. We got some Libra, some Gemini, and Aquarius. Cancer and Scorpio. What a train wreck that turned into. I'm sorry. I was trying. Sometimes you ever have something in your brain and you're trying to get it out, and every time you open your mouth, it just seems like it makes it worse. Like, sometimes it's like that old saying when people say, "Okay, I seen something," and it's I can't describe it. Like, they seen this view or something. They're on vacation and they seen this beautiful view, but they can't like, words don't do it justice. Sometimes I have thoughts and words just don't do it justice. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's sometimes we try to fit. We have a good connection with someone. Maybe you meet someone and things are good, and you have, maybe you have a good sex life, and maybe, you have good conversations, but there's something missing. And I feel like that is where we kind of get hung up in the wrong relationships. Something's missing, so sometimes we try to alter ourselves to fit into it, and it just makes it worse. Over the years, me and Rose had some issues, and I feel like that was part of it. Was me trying to fit her, or me trying to get her to fit me. And I realized that we do much better when we don't try that at all. Like I said, I'm me and she's her, and together we're great. And I don't need to fix that. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's working just fine. And it works just fine when I don't try to fix it. Like, sometimes I would say things to her, and I don't like saying the word "put my foot down," but there was times that I felt like I was putting my foot down, and she was like, "You know what? Shit, I'll show you." And even if she would agree to what I said, if I said it in a better way, or if I had, confronted her in a better way, maybe she would have got on board. But to make it sound like it was an ultimatum, don't give a Gemini an ultimatum, because they'll pick the opposite of what you want, just out of damn spite. And like I mentioned before, with Geminis, be honest. Don't bullshit a Gemini, because they'll figure it out. Most Geminis know you're bullshitting them before you even open your mouth, so no sense trying that. And then once you lose their trust, I mean, good luck with that. But like I said, with this person, I feel like you have a lot of similarities. I mean, it's very resonant with me. And a lot of people give me grief. They're like, "Oh, why do you bring your life into it?" I mean, this is my channel, and I do the reading for everybody. But what comes at the end, I just like to talk. And I like to be able to have that freedom, and it's just something that I enjoy, and I try to make things relevant. And the only way to make it relevant is to put my own life into it. Other than that, I'm just, what am I saying? You know, some tarot readers like to give advice at the end. I don't really do that. I don't like to give advice. I feel like unsolicited advice is something I just don't want to do. If you ever email me and ask me a question, I will give you advice. But be careful what you ask me, because I will be honest. Um, but on here, I'm just reading the cards. But anyway, so back to my story. We, and I always tell people, if you don't like the stories, I mean, I always tell you when the end of the read is. So you don't have to stick around. But I appreciate those that do, because I know a lot of people give me I get a lot of emails and comments about people liking the story. So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do me. That's all I can be. A little genuine for you there. Anyway, back to the story. I feel like mine and Rose, with our relationship, I feel like when it really started getting good is when I realized that I just be straightforward. I say things that piss her off sometimes, but I feel like because I'm so honest, and she says things that piss me off, but I also feel, because she's so honest, that's what makes our connection work. Because we're not playing games. We're not saying stupid things. We're saying what we mean, and we mean what we say, and we're putting it all out there. And when it's all out there, it's all out there. You know, I feel like early on in our relationship, there's a lot of times that there was things I wanted to say that I didn't say. And that's another thing too. Geminis can sniff that shit out. You got something to say that you aren't saying, they'll smell it like a bloodhound. But unfortunately, they don't know exactly what it is that you're hiding. They just know you're hiding something. And when you leave someone in the dark, don't be surprised what they find. It might not even be what you were hiding. But anyway, that's what I have for you. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.